In working with VirtualBox, we haven't really dealt with the network very much. But if you think about it, you might wonder how virtual computers are connected with each other in a network. And we have a lot of capability in how we change that. Here in VirtualBox, I've got a set of settings here under Network where I can choose things like NAT, bridged adapter, and internal and host only, and a whole bunch of things. And as you can see, I also can add additional adapters here. So what these are simply the network adapters. In other words, the NIC, or the card, the interface card. And how that card is allowed to interact with the host machine, or with the outside world, or with other virtual machines. Now in Hyper-V, we have something that looks like this. We have a virtual switch manager over to the right side of our Hyper-V manager. And when we click virtual switch manager, we can create new network switches, external, internal, and private. You need to know how these operate for the MTA. So let me describe them. An external switch, this is just like plugging your host machine and your internet connection, for example, into the same switch in which you plug your virtual machines, so that your virtual machine is capable of communicating with the host machine, and it's also capable of communicating with the outside world, with other networks. If you create an internal switch, then you can have virtual machines communicate with the host machine, but not with the outside world. If you choose private, the virtual machines can communicate with each other, but not with the host machine and not with the outside world. Now, how all this interacts with, say, IP addresses or with the NAT protocol, Network Address Translation Protocol, would be fun to look at, but it would take a lot more time than we need to take up for this class. So if you are taking networking classes, you might want to see if you can draw out how that would work as far as IP addresses, but it's not going to be required for this. Now, this is a two-step process. I'm going to actually create these switches first in Hyper-V, and then I'm going to take my various machines, and by right-clicking on them and going to Network, I'm going to choose which switches that machine is going to be connected to. So it's a two-step process here. Whereas when we were in VirtualBox, and let's see if I can get back to the VirtualBox one here, I simply choose the machine. In this case, this is DC1, and then I choose which one of these. But these are already created. They're already made and pre-designed in the software. Whereas in Hyper-V, they're not pre-designed. You have to create those switches first. It's like going out and buying a physical switch. And then you have to plug that device into that switch, or I should say virtually plug it into the switch.